friends. This week I'm so excited to share my fun craft with you, but before we start, remember that you might want to put on an apron so you keep your shirt nice and clean, or something to put on the table so that way your table doesn't get too dirty. Today we're going to be making these amazing painted snow globes with Christmas trees on the inside. I'm so excited to share with you on how we're going to do this. So let me go through the supplies we need this week. Alright, this week we need some construction paper. Specifically, I use blue and black, but you can use whatever colors you have at home, including white paper if you needed to. We need some type of paper plate or something to put our paints on. Some type of scissors this week. Q-tips, or you can use your fingers, depending on how messy you want to get. Some type of tape or glue. And then, of course, our paint. I really recommend having at least white and green paint. The red is optional, or you can use any other color you wanted. Alright, I think those are all the supplies we need this week. We are making snow globes with Christmas trees on the inside. I'm so excited to share this with you. So let's get started.
Alright, so I'm going to start off with my big piece of paper, and I'm going to grab a pen and a circular shape. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to trace it. I'm going to move it off to the side so I have a little bit of extra space off on the edges that I can use later. I'm going to go ahead and trace around with my pen. Awesome! I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it out. I recommend using regular scissors, but right now I only have these really fun craft scissors, so I'll just have these really nice decorated edges. You can decide how big you want your circle to be. Mine's roughly, I think, the size of my hand. Alright, I'm going to move that off to the side, keep my scissors there, and I'm going to grab my pen again. And we are going to draw a Christmas tree right here. Now remember, we don't want it as big as the snow globe, so we need it to be just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to draw some lines, just some guidelines so I know how big it needs to be. So I want it a little bit smaller than that. So I'm going to start roughly in the center, and I'm going to draw two lines at the top. They'll curve outwards for the top of my Christmas tree. Bring a line in, have that diagonal line go back down, bring it back in again, and then bring another line back down. So I have 3 ridges for my little Christmas tree. Gonna finish connecting the bottom line, and then we need a little part that goes down for the tree trunk. Alright, once you feel like your Christmas tree is ready, take those same scissors again, and we are going to cut out this shape. If you have extras, just move them off to the side because we don't need them. All we need is this Christmas tree shape. And it's okay, however you cut it will be perfectly fine. Awesome, and again I recommend using regular scissors, but if you have craft scissors, that's always okay. Awesome, my Christmas tree shape. I'm going to move my scraps over because I do not need those. Awesome. Okay. So I have my circular shape and my Christmas tree shape. This is going to go on top of my circle, so I'm going to take 2 pieces of tape, again 2 pieces of tape, and I'm going to put them on the back of my Christmas tree because we are going to be using this as a stencil. So I'm going to put this wherever I want my Christmas tree, so towards the bottom, and I'm just going to lightly tap it. So I'm not going to rub really hard, just lightly tap it so that way it just sticks, but it's not going to be super glued down. Okay, I'm going to move this off to the side, and I need my next supplies, which is a paper plate, and then my little Q-tips. I have 3 of them. And then my paints as well. I have white and green and red. I'm going to start with white and green first. Now we really don't need a lot, so you just need a little bit. Even the amount that I got is almost too much. And alright, here's my green. Perfect, so I'm going to move this off to the side a little bit. Bring my picture back, my snow globe. And then of course, we're going to want to put something underneath our art project so that way our table doesn't get super messy and we only get paint in on the snow globe. So I'm going to grab one of my Q-tips and we're just going to use a nice soft end and dip it in the paint, or you can use your fingers as well if you do not have Q-tips. So I'm just going to dip the end in the paint. Do you see how that makes nice dots? Grab as much paint as you want, and we're just going to follow the outside edge of this Christmas tree. So that way this works as a stencil, and then we have this really cool outline. So we're just going to take the Q-tip or your finger. If you don't have Q-tips, that's fine. And you're going to continually dip it back in the paint and add dots that go all around the Christmas tree. So that way you have a good outline of it. So I wanted to make my outline kind of thick, so I added a couple extra dots off of the edge of the outline, just to make sure that my Christmas tree will really stand out. As you work, you might realize you need to grab more paint or less paint. And then I'm going to add lots of green to the bottom to show where my ground would be. Alright, and I think that's a good amount of green. So, but what I am going to do is I'm going to mix a little bit of my white and my green together, just so that way I maybe have two different colors of green. So a dark green and a light green. So I'm going to go ahead and add this wherever I want it. You don't have to do this. This is a little bit extra. I just like to have lots of variations in my colors. Alright, I'm going to take that off to the side. My fingers are a little dirty, so I'm going to take a baby wipe or some type of tissue and try to rub that off. And I'm going to grab a new clean Q-tip or my clean finger. Dip it in the white this time, and now we are going to add the snow that goes around the snow globe. So almost as if you shook your snow globe and now the snow is falling all around. We're going to go ahead and add that right now. You can add big dots or smaller dots depending on how you push it down. Going to add those all around. I'm going to put some white on my tree so it almost looks like maybe there's some snow hanging on my tree. And then a lot on the bottom to make it look like it's sitting on the ground, like we have a little bit of a snowy ground. So keep adding snow as much as you see fit. Big dots, little dots, whatever it might be. Alright, I'm going to drop that down because we don't need that anymore. So we're going to wait for this to dry. Awesome, now that it's dry, we're going to take that stencil part. Remember, there's a piece of paper there? We're going to take that stencil part and very carefully lift it up. Awesome, now we have that really cool outline. So now, if you want, I'm going to take my red paint. This is totally optional. I'm going to grab, again, just a little bit of paint. And I'm going to grab my Q-tip. And we're going to add just a little bit of a decoration to our Christmas tree. So you can add ornaments. I'm going to add some garland. So I'm going to add almost like red stripes to my Christmas tree made out of dots. So you can use the Q-tip if you wanted. You could use your fingers, or you can grab a paintbrush for this part. This part you can decorate however you want to decorate. You can always add other colors as well, not just red. Alright, I'm going to set that down. Move my paint out of the way because we don't need it anymore. You can let this sit and dry now. But we want sort of a bottom to our snow globe. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of black paper. This is scraps from last week. I'm going to put it down, and we're just going to measure almost like a square. Just a square, so that way we can put a nice piece of paper on the bottom to act like the little stand for our snow globe. So I'm going to cut this down into a square. Sorry I didn't show it. I accidentally brought it off screen, but you're going to cut it into a square. Bring it back. See how that fits? If you want it really high or really low, you can adjust it. I'm going to grab a piece of tape, or you can use glue. And I'm going to stick that right there on the bottom. And then just put my snow globe right on top. Carefully push it down, careful if it's still wet, and then there we go. It's all done.
Oh my goodness, this turned out amazing. Everyone, you did such a good job. I hope you had fun here at Artmeohio Party at home, making your own little snow globe with a Christmas tree on the inside. Remember, you can join us here on Wednesdays around noon for a fun new art project that you can do at home with your family and friends. And remember, just like your art project, stay perfectly imperfect and artistically fabulous. Bye everyone, and happy holidays!